only way out is to practice. Okay. And one more very important thing is your mind map. If you go to 360digitemg.com, you would see a mind map and do a drop down, go to Python programming fundamentals, and you would see a bunch of things available. You will see what are the variables, how do you declare variables, history, types of operators, so on and so forth. And we have already spoken about arithmetic operators, relational operators, assignment operators, logical, identity, membership, bitwise, etc. And then we also have gotten into the discussion of list. And we have discussed that the elements of list are represented using square brackets. Using square brackets, you represent the elements of the list. Elements of list are mutable, meaning they can be changed, they can be amended, they can be edited, etc. And yesterday, while we were discussing, I think, yep, at this line of code, there was something unusual happening. When the lists were getting printed and it was getting looped continuously. I told that I'll talk about that later. And the reason why I told I'll talk about that later is because I need to explain you about memory IDs, etc., which might get a little complicated. So I do not want to confuse you guys. Hence, I told I'll talk about that later. Anyways, so here is where we were yesterday or in the previous module. We discussed until sorting. We created the list, we sorted the list. When we sort, by default, all these numbers get sorted in ascending order. Okay, all these get sorted in ascending order. Next, we have a string. We are creating a string of 4 elements, right? It's a list basically. We are creating a list which contains 4 elements. ABCD is element 1, EFG is element 2, HIJK is element 3, LMN is element 4. And you are using this assignment operator, assigning the elements or items to a variable called string. So this I keep repeating multiple times because I want you all to just push these terms, terminologies, lingo, language into your brain. So this is variable name, okay, or object name. And this is assignment operator. And you have 4 elements or items. These 4 are elements or items, which are part of list. And list is represented using square brackets. Okay, list is represented using square brackets. And what you're doing here is you're taking that string and you're saying, I want to sort the string based on what? Based on what you want to sort. You're saying you want to sort based on the key length. When we say key length, this has a length of 4 This has a length of 3 because you have 1, 2, 3 elements. This has one H, I, J, K, 4. And this has 1, 2, 3, L, M, N. So when you say sorted, it's going to sort in ascending order. Okay, it's going to sort in ascending order. And when it is getting sorted in ascending order, 3, 3. This has 3, this has 3 elements. Okay, this has 4 and this has 4 elements. So first, there are 2 ways to look at it. I'll show you. First, I'll run this and then I'll show you what happens. Or let me do that also so that it's easy for you all to compare. If you do this plus sign, there'll be another block of code which will get added, and then there you can post the stuff. Let me do one thing. Let me put it here and then let me. Okay. So see what's happening. It will traverse in this direction and it is going to look at this, which has only 3, length of 3. So that will get printed first. Then it will traverse completely and it finds this, which also has a length of 3. So that gets printed. Next, this has 4, length of 4, that gets printed. Then once again it traverses and finds this and it prints that. I just changed the order sequence. So now here we are creating the same string, or we are creating a list and storing that in an object or variable called string. When we say sorted string, how do you want to sort it? Based on length. The key to sort these is length. So if you look at this 4, 4, 3, and 3. So when it traverses in this direction, first it comes across this, so it will print that. Then it will come across this, that also gets printed. Then it traverses again in this way and it finds this, which has length 4. This also has 4. So this is how it will traverse from left to right, and from left to right, whatever, you know, the elements or items it finds, it is going to print them in ascending order. So 3 comes first, then 4. Next. You can write your own functions. So the functions like this, sorted, are called as inbuilt functions. Meaning someone else has already written that function and we're just trying to reuse that. Be it sort, or here we have length, maximum value, minimum value, sort. All these are called as inbuilt functions. Someone else has already written the code to perform those operations. Okay, someone else has already written the code and you're just trying to reuse that. But if you do not have a function which is written by someone else, then you need to write the function on your own. So one is making use of inbuilt functions which someone else has written in the past and we want to reuse that. What if you do not have inbuilt functions written by someone else? What if the operation that you want to perform is very different? and you don't have any function which is already written, then what do? Then we need to write our own functions. When you write your own function, it is called as user defined function. User defined function. Okay, one is inbuilt function or user defined function. So let's look at the user defined function and how to write it. What is the syntax or what is the format in which you write user defined function? So I'm creating a list. I'm giving the name of the list as string. Using the assignment operator, we have 4 elements. Okay, we have 4 elements. We are adding those 4 elements to this. Then when you define a function, you write it in this way: def, define function 1. Define def, that's how you write. This is a standard way of writing. Space. Here you can give any name of your choice. You can say ABC, XYZ, and you can give your name Bharani, right? Kumar. You whatever you want to write, you can write. You need not just always say FUNC1. You can give any name of your choice. Of in this also, either put I, J, K, L, whatever you want to put, and colon. This is how the first line of user-defined function is written. This is a user-defined function. This is how you write the first line, colon. And after colon, the moment you press enter, automatically something called as indentation. Okay. Something called as indentation happens. Indentation means automatically the space gets created. It's not a single space. I think it is 4 spaces if I'm not mistaken, right? So automatically it gets created. If not, press tab key on your keyboard. On your keyboard, on your computer, you see a button called as, or a key called as tab, T-A-B. Press tab and it will automatically create that space. And then you're saying this L of -1. Okay, this L of -1. That is what you want the function to return. -1 refers to the last value. The last value in the list can be referred to using -1. Usually in Python, when you use -1, that means you want to refer to the last column or last element of a list or data, whatever. Just remember, indexing in Python starts from 0. That means this is index number 0. This is one thing that you need to remember. Second thing is -1 means it will start right from the end onwards. And then, if you just say -1 and leave it there, what happens? If you say, even before that, return L of 0. Okay, if I were to run this, what happens? Let's see. And then you're saying this is a function. Instead of this L, I want to give the string. Instead of this L, I want to give string. So, but what should it return you? When you run this function, what should it return? Instead of L, you're giving string. So it should return string of 0. So here you have written a function. You have generically told L. Instead of L, I'm giving string. So it has to return L of 1. Instead of L, it is string. So it is string of 0. 0 is what? This. So it has to return that for us. Oh yeah, it has written now. If I say -1, or if I say 1, for instance, what should this function do? If you define a user-defined function once, you can reuse it multiple times. So here, what am I doing? I'm saying function 1. Instead of L, I'm giving string. And what should that function return? L of 1. That means it has to return string. Instead of L, we have given string. So string of 1. And this has index number 0. This has index number 1. This has 2. This has 3. Right? So if I were to run this, it has to give you index number 1 element. Index number 1 is EFF. Yeah, there we go. EFF is getting printed. If I give -1 now, what would happen is -1 will refer to the last element. This element, last element. So if I were to run this, it's giving me element. That's how it works. Next. So what are we doing here? We are saying take the string and sort it and print. This is done. We are moving on to the next line. Just multiple lines of code is what we will understand. Varieties of things is what we are going to understand. So here, when you say sorted string, here you have string. When you say sorted, you want to sort it in a specific manner. And then you want to print the results. How does the sorting happen? Ideally, it should happen in the ascending order. Okay, so let me run this string. But when we sorted this, if you observe in this line of code, here, we have given key equal to length of these elements. Here you have length as 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you also have 4. Here you have 3, 1, 2, 3. Here also 1, 2, 3, right? So when you printed this 3 got printed, and then this 4 got printed. That's how it got printed. Because you have given key equal to length. The key to sort is length. But here you didn't give anything. So by default, it will take alphabets. By default, it will sort based on alphabets. Alphabetically, I wanted to write in that way, but that's it. That means when you look at this specific string, A comes first, then comes E, then comes H, L. Right? So let us create this particular string here, and let me rearrange these. Let me put EFF. Now let's run this. Very good. So when you look at alphabets, what comes first? What comes first? A. So whatever is given here, element that gets printed. Next, if you look at only the first alphabets, E comes next. A, B, C, D, E. So this element gets printed. E, F, G, H. So this gets printed. I, J, K, L. So this gets printed. This is how it is printed. Okay. Now, if you were to use the same function And if you give only single element, what happens? Let's see. So what is the function that we have written? Function of L. And you want to return L of -1. So instead of L, I'm giving ABCG. So instead of L, I'm giving ABCG. And what should this function actually return? L of -1. So instead of L, you're giving ABCG. So ABCG of -1. So what will it do? 0 means this, 1 means this, 2, 3 in that way. And this last one, if you want to refer, it is -1. It is -1. So when you run this line, G gets printed. The value G gets printed. Next. I want to sort this specific string. Now I want to give key equal to function 1. This function 1 we have written, right? That's the key. Now what happens? Let us observe. So what it does is, if I were to, first of all, let me find this. Let me do this. And find this. So now this string contains all of these elements, 4 elements. But this function, what should it do? It has to return -1. So it has to take each value and then -1. So if you take ABCG of -1, it will refer to G and you will get G here. Okay, bear that in mind for now. When you just apply on this specific string which has all these elements, if you apply this function, what happens? That is what I'm explaining you. Next, if you look at HIJD of -1, why -1? Because you want to return -1 is equal to -1 means it will refer to D. Then the next element, function 1, L. L is nothing but string. So you go to the string. And on this specific string, you want to apply this function. So it will go to this third element, EFF, will say of -1. -1 will refer to this last. Then you have the next element in the string, which is LMI of -1. Why -1? Because the function that you want to apply has -1. -1 means it will refer to I. Now G, D, F, I, these are the results. When you look at the alphabets, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J in that way, what comes first? D here. And D is related to H, I, J, D. So that gets printed. You want to print it after sorting in that way, right? G, then E, F. F. So F is related to E, F. So that will get printed next. Then G. G is related to A, B, C, D. Then H, I is given. And that comes next, which is related to LMI, and that gets printed. Okay. So this is how you print all the values. This is how you can write your own function and then do a lot of addition. So let me also show this. enter, automatically it will go there. If it doesn't happen by any chance, right? Press a tab. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces. After colon, define whatever name you want to give that. Colon. If you enter, automatically it will create that indentation. If not, press the tab key on your keyboard. If not, press your space bar 4 times. Okay, so that is about lists. And we know for a fact that lists are mutable, meaning once you create a list, you can add new elements to that, you can delete a few elements from that, so on and so forth. You can edit it, basically. That is the meaning of mutable. Now we are entering into another discussion of a concept which is called as tuples. Tuple is same as list, but it has some differences. The difference is that when it comes to list, we have given square brackets. But when it comes to tuple, we create parentheses. List is mutable and tuple is immutable. List is mutable, tuple is immutable. That means once you create a tuple, you cannot edit it. Tuple is also a collection of elements, collection of items. Benefits of tuple is tuples are considered to be faster than lists. If user wants to protect the data from accidental changes, tuple can be used because you don't want someone to accidentally add an element, delete an element, etc. So that is where we have. Tuple can be used as keys in dictionaries. So we will get to dictionaries. When we get to dictionaries, you will understand about keys. Okay. Until then, just hold on to the process. Okay. So we have tuples. Let us understand. So here, tuple means it is immutable. That's a key thing that you need to remember. Immutable means once created, it cannot be deleted, amended, etc. Right? So let me create a variable called tup1. Any name can be given. Variable name can be anything. Okay, you can give any name of it. And we're giving elements. There are 4 elements in this tuple. Okay, then you're creating tuple 2, in which you have all these elements 1, 2. This additional space probably not needed, so this not a best practice of giving the space and then closing the brackets. So a tuple can contain just numbers or just alphabets or strings, whatever. And you're saying print tuple 1, it printed you these values. Print tuple 2, it prints those values. Okay. Now, if you say what is the ID of this tuple 1, if I were to run it, it says this is the ID. This is the ID which is pointing towards your memory. All these that you're creating variables get stored where? In memory. So when you take example of your laptop or desktop or your computer or server, whatever you take as an example, one is you'll have a hard drive. The second is you'll have memory or RAM, random access memory. Hard disk is kind of permanent, right? You save your file there, it will be there until you delete it. But when you store in memory, it will be there until you restart your computer or until you restart your application. If I close Python, everything in memory will be gone. Reading and writing the data. So if you create a tuple, tuple gets created faster if you use memory. And if you want to delete it also, it is faster. Or if you want to pull the elements of this out from memory, it will be faster. So reading and writing, read, write operations are faster when you work on memory. In this memory, where is it stored? Which location is it stored? If you have 8 GB RAM, it's somewhere it has to store, right? Your operating system takes care of that. So it gets stored in a specific location. Now that location is given an ID, description, identifier. This is the one where it gets stored. Then here you are creating an empty tuple. Tuple 1 is equal to nothing but an empty tuple. Nothing is there. And then you are saying print this tuple. When you print it, there is nothing in that. It is all empty. Then when you say, let me see the ID of that tuple, what is happening? It is creating a different location in your memory. So this tuple 1 which got created is having some ID in your memory, some point that way this is stored there. And when you are creating an empty tuple, it's not replacing the same location. But in list, it would have replaced the same location. Same memory location, it would have replaced in list. But in tuple, it's not replacing the same location. What is it doing then? It is creating a different ID. That means it is creating this tuple 1 in a different location. That's what is happening, friends. So that's about tuple. Remember, it will create a different location altogether. Because tuple is immutable. Once created, it will still be there in that memory. Okay. Now what are we doing? Tuple 1 equal to 50. Because we created an empty tuple. Now we are saying tuple 1. And then you're saying, okay, show me what is there in that tuple. It says 50. What is the type of this? When you say type of this, it says it's a tuple. For list, you'll put a square brackets. That's the difference. And list, when you replace, it will not create a new memory ID, a new location to store your variable, but the same thing gets replaced. But here in tuple, it will create a different location. The location where you already created a variable that's reserved for that. Done. Create another one. Okay. So here, say I'm now creating another tuple with 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 4 elements or items is what we are creating. Now, when you say tuple 1 of 0, it will refer to the first element. Indexing in Python starts from 0. So we are referring to this element. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then you're creating tuple 2, wherein you're creating all these values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And when you say tuple 2 of 1 to 5, what happens? Hold on, we'll understand. So let me run it. So this print of tuple 1 of 0 will refer to this because this has an index number 0. So that gets printed. When you run this, what happens is this tuple, this has index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When you say 1:5, it will start from index number 1. Index number 1 is 2. Index number 2 is 3. Index number 3 is 4. Index number 4 is 5. And the last number is ignored. Just remember that. This is something that we discussed in the previous session also. 1:5 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. The last value is ignored. 1 means 2. 2 means, index number 2 means 3. Index number 3 means 4. Index number 4 means 5. It's printed. Now let's look at two tuples. Let's create two tuples. Tuple 1, I'm having two elements, 12 and 34.16, some integer and float value. Tuple 2 has two elements. Okay. Now if I say tuple 1 equal to tuple 1 plus tuple 2, tuple 1 plus tuple 2, and then you're storing both in tuple 1. When you do that and when you say print tuple 1, look at what's happening. Tuple 1 values, which is these two, plus tuple 2 values, which are these two, are getting into this, and when you print the elements of that, you get this. Okay, next. I'm creating a tuple now with 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, and I'm printing that tuple. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4 elements printed. Okay. Once the tuple is created, done. Can you delete elements from that? Why? Because tuple is immutable. So if I say this is a tuple, delete tuple of 1. This is 0 index number, this is 1. And after deleting, print and show me the results. Now what happens is it will give you an error. And it will say that, sorry, tuple object doesn't support item deletion. You cannot delete. This is clearly saying that this cannot be deleted. Okay. Can I delete entire tuple? TUP has all these. No, cannot be deleted. So remember this. Next, when you do help of tuple, you get a lot of functions which are available. Just go to that, count, index, and multiple things are there. You might want to explore those, and you might find a few things which are very helpful. Okay. Next, we are getting into something called as sets. Sets are used to store multiple items in a single variable. Multiple items can be stored in a single variable. That is what is the meaning of sets. Just excuse me. Sometimes I get some ideas. So I want to just record those before they flow away. Okay. And sets are unindexed. They're not indexed. The elements within set, for example, if you create a list or a tuple, say 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if you say A, this is a list, B, this is a tuple. When you say A of 0, it will refer to 1. B of 0 will refer to 1. So using index numbers, you can refer to those elements. But within sets, sets are not indexed. That means if you create a set 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not, this is not 0, index number 0. There is no index to this. If you say C of 0, it will say, I don't know, not found, or some error. This is also for a reason that sets are unordered. Either you write it as 1, 2, 3, 4, or you write it as 4, 2, 1, 3, or you write 4, 3, 1, 2. Doesn't matter. All these three are the same sets. It has the sets of same elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The order doesn't matter. Hence, there is no index. Sets can be altered. They are mutable. And one more very important thing is sets do not allow for duplicates. That means you cannot have a set which says 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. No. One is getting repeated twice. That is not allowed. Duplication is not allowed. And if sets are mutable, frozen sets are immutable. Sets are mutable. However, frozen sets are immutable. Like list is mutable, tuple is immutable in that way. Friends, anything that you have studied until now, while you were kids, you would have studied 2 table, 3 table, 3 ones are 3, 3 twos are 6, 3 threes are 9 in that way, right? The moment you read that, do you think you remembered it and then for the lifetime you would remember that by reading it only once? Not really, right? You had to redo that. You had to revise that. You had to mug up. 3 ones are 3, 3 twos are 6. You would have probably repeated multiple times, written multiple times to remember. For that age, that's how we have dealt with it. At this age also, when you want to learn, say, Python programming, do not assume that you just listen to this once and then you'll remember for the rest of your life. No. That is why we are saying we are giving you access to mind map. We will add a lot of additional things, a lot of new things. Please keep reading that multiple times. Only then will you remember. And for you to properly write a program, you need to practice. As I told you in session 1, this is like swimming, friends. If you want to learn swimming, you need to get into the swimming pool. Do not assume that just by watching the videos or by reading the books on how to swim, you'll become a good swimmer. In your lifetime, you cannot become a good swimmer if you don't enter into the water. Python programming is exactly like that. You need to practice daily. You need to dedicate some time. All right, back to our discussion. Sets. First, let's create a normal set. So I'm creating a set and the syntax is like this. For list, we created like this. For tuple, we created elements or items like this. For a set, we're doing this. and also combination. Okay. And within that, you are mentioning the elements. So A, B, and C, you are creating a set using the assignment operator. You are assigning it to an object called normal underscore set. Then you're saying print normal set. And when you say print the normal set here, A, B, C is getting printed. Print normal set, which is printing the elements of this set, A, B, C. Set is mutable. Add new elements to all that. So if you say this normal set dot add D, and then if you print the normal set, it says, okay, normal set had ABC. Now I'm adding D to it. So A, B, C, D get printed. Frozen set is immutable like tuple. If you say frozen set of E, F, G, using assignment operator, you are assigning it to a variable. The variable name can be anything, friends. You can say ABC, XYZ, or anything. And when you say print frozen set, whatever you give here in the double quotes get printed as is. And you're saying print frozen set, this one. So it will say F, G, E. Oh, there is no sequence to it. Absolutely. It can get printed in any order. When you type and run it on your computer, it might get printed in a different sequence, in a different order. Why? Because sets are unordered. It need not get printed in a sequence. Maybe you are giving it in some sequence, E, F, G, but please do not expect it to be printed in the same sequence. It can get printed in any sequence. Now to this frozen set, if you say, okay, let me add H, it will throw an error. It will not allow you. That is an immutability concept in Python. If you don't want someone to accidentally change something, then you make it immutable. And that is what we are doing here. By using this function called frozen set. Run it. It says frozen set object has no attribute add. You cannot add it. Okay. Let us look at a few set operations. Let us create two sets. I'm creating a null set using assignment operator. I'm assigning it to set one. I'm creating another null set using assignment operator. I'm assigning it to set two. Now, if you say print set one, comma set two, the two empty sets are getting printed. Next. I'm writing a for loop. We'll look into for loops and all that later. Okay. For now, just I'm introducing a few things to you all. Don't get jittery. Don't press the panic button yet. Hold on. For I in range of these numbers. Range of these numbers. Remember, the last number is always ignored. No. Range of these numbers means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The last number 10 is ignored. This number won't get printed. That's one of the properties in Python. Now you're saying go to this set 1, which is an empty set. Add all these elements I. And I first will become 1 because I in range of these. So I is 1. So 1 gets added to set 1. And that's what you're printing. Set 1 is what it. Then it will go to this loop. For I in 2, set 1 dot add the 2. So you're adding to the set 1, 2. Then again it will go to this loop. We'll say for I in range of 3. So set1 dot add 3. Go to set1 and add 3. Then go back to the for loop. For I in range of this time 4. Set1 dot add 4. So add 4 to set1. It gets added. Then again goes back to the for loop. This time for I in 5. Set1 dot add that 5 to set1. Again go to the for loop. Go to 6. Then add it. Add that 6 to set1. Again go to the for loop. 7. Add that 7. Again go 8. Add that 8 to the set. Again go to the for loop. 9. Okay. Add that 9 to set. Stop. Because the numbers are exhausted. For I in 10, it will come out. Because 10, the last number is ignored. So it will come out of this loop, and then whatever elements are added to set 1 are displayed to you on the screen. This is how you write a for loop. And here also remember one thing. There is this indentation which is created. Colon, enter, the indentation is automatically created. Now, adding elements to set 2. Set 2 is an empty set that we created, a null set. Now here what we are saying is for I in range of 3, 10. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This 10 is ignored. And when you say set2 dot add I will be 3 first. So add 3 to set2, which was earlier null set. So you are adding 3. And then it will go back to the loop. For I in 4, add that 4 to the set2. Then again it will go to this loop. For I in 5, add 5 to set2, so on and so forth. So all the elements will add. And since you're saying show me the elements of set2, it is displaying all the values. Next. Union of set1 and set2. Union is all the elements, union. So for union, you use something called as a pipe delimiter. So if you look at your Windows keyboard, just above your enter key, you'll have enter key on your keyboard. Just above that, you'll see a straight line like that. That's called as pipe delimiter. If you're using MacBook, just above return key on your keyboard, you'll see the pipe delimiter. Yes. Okay. Because you should not assume that this is 1 or this is L, something on those lines, right? It is pipe delimiter. So we created 2 sets now. Set 1 contains all these values and set 2 contains all these values. Union means it shows all the elements. So when I combine these two, set 1 union set 2, and you are using assignment operator to assign the values to set 3. Then you are saying print whatever you put in double quotes here, right? Exactly that gets printed. So you're saying union of set 1 and set 2 is set 3. Whatever you type there, exactly that will get printed here. That exact thing gets printed out. And then you're saying set 3. Set 3 is union of these two. Union means all the elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 all gets printed. In set 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are already there here. Remember, duplicates are not allowed in sets. Don't assume that again 3, 4, 5, 6 gets printed. No. Why? Because within sets, duplicates are not allowed. Okay, so that's about union. Then you have intersection. Intersection means common elements. In these two, and means intersection. So you are looking at intersection of set 1 and set 2 means common elements. If you have set 1 and set 2, you want the common elements. That's called as intersection. So you're saying print intersection of set 1 and set 2 is set 4 equal. So intersection of set 1 and set 2, set 4 equal to. And here you have set 4. Set 4 contains all the common elements like 3, here also you have 3, 4, 4. So this is set 1, this is set 2, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. So these are the common elements. So those common elements are getting printed. So intersection of set 1 and set 2 is nothing but set 4. Next, we have time. Yes, I think we have a couple of minutes. So I think we can just discuss this part and then stop. If set 3 is greater than set 4, so you have set 3 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 elements are there. And in set 4, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements only. So here you have overall 9 elements. Here you have overall 7 elements. Is set 3, if set 3 is greater than set 4, then print this. Set 3 is superset of set 4. Else if set 3 is less than set 4, print set 3 is subset of set 4. Okay. Else meaning if both are equal. So either set 3 will have more elements than set 4, or set 4 will have more elements than set 3, or both will be equal. So if set 3 is greater than set 4, you print this. Else if set 3 is less than set 4, print that set 3 is subset of set 4. Else print set 3 is same as set 4. These are 3 conditions which exist. So if I were to just run that, since set 3 elements are more than set 4 elements, you say set 3 is superset of set 4. This means this condition is satisfied. So this gets printed. Okay. So I'll stop here, friends. And tomorrow when we connect, we will take this discussion forward. Thank you all so much for joining. But then yesterday, a few of you all have told me that on LinkedIn, questions were not posted. So what we have done now is both yesterday's questions and today's questions are posted on LinkedIn. And once again, please follow our LinkedIn page, okay, so that you become a member of this community and answer those questions. And towards the end, what we will do is we'll look at whether people have responded to all the questions or not. And we will direct you on how to get NASSCOM plus 360 Digit MV certificate. We'll communicate on various forums. On the last day also, I'll communicate on how to get NASSCOM 360 Digit MV joint certificate. Okay, but there'll be something that you need to do for that. We'll let you know what you need to do. And then you get this certificate. Okay. But then please answer all the questions on LinkedIn. And do follow our page on LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn and answer the questions. Ask your known people. If you're liking this training, I request you all to please subscribe to the YouTube channel, number one, because next month we are going to conduct data science foundation training, which will lay the foundation for you all to get into the field of data science, learn more, etc. So the foundation training would be conducted by me only. So do subscribe to the YouTube channel and inform your friends, relatives, whoever can get benefited. All right. Thank you so much, friends, and see you tomorrow.